Group one is Claire, Nora, Veronique, Clement, Andrea, Sachin, Stefan, and myself. So I hand you over to the first presenter.
Thanks. So the first question is, what is the structure strategy fit and what is the relation between pattern strategy and the organizational structure? So basically the structure strategy fit is the organizational framework that fits with the strategic requirements of the company. So you first set the strategy, and from that you develop an organizational framework that fits with the strategy. And once you develop that organizational framework, that will actually act as the infrastructure and regulator for implementing the strategy. So there are four strands of organization when it comes to patent management. So there's structural, process, functional, and IP culture. So the first three don't have much to do with the structure strategy fit, but IP culture has a lot to do with the structure strategy fit. So basically, when you have a company with a strong IP culture, you will have an organizational framework that follows the patent strategy. So again, something we've been learning all along is that you first have the business model. From that, you derive the patent strategy. And in this case, you extrapolate that to the organizational structure. And one easy way of doing all this is to have an integrated patent management in which the efficiency and effectiveness goals are aligned. In the case of Thermomix, the organizational framework they use is that of market-based like differentiation center. And so this kind of organization will feed from the market information on customer relevant USPs, the customer benefits they're looking for, etc. So over to Stefan.
The key question here was, what is the patent strategy that Vorwerk used during the development of the Thermomix? And what came out quite clearly is that they moved away from a strategy that was based on, hey, here's an invention, towards something that is clearly focusing on the customer benefit. So the strategy is a customer benefit based patent strategy, and it very much is built on 4 blocks here. It's so-called usage occasions. First of all, it gives a guaranteed recipe of success. It helps for the consumer to save time. It provides safety to the consumer, and it adds flexibility to the way that the consumer prepares their respective meals. And what was important here to understand is that the new strategy that Thermomix implemented based on the usage occasions, they had to change different aspects of the organization as a whole. First of all, they moved towards the integration of market intelligence in the patent development and management process. And based on the outcomes of this market intelligence processes, they designed IP rights to exactly protect these consumer benefit or customer benefits that are specified here, linked to the Thermomix. Then next, they really identified what is driving the purchase decision of the customer when they select the Thermomix over a competing product, and that is not linked to the active selling part of the business model. And once they did it, then they integrated the market intelligence view in a way that they used continuously data to improve the patent design. And with that, I hand over to the next presenter.
So consequently, they had to also redesign from organizational point of view the link between processes and components in order to execute and implement and execute this new IP strategy. And they created something which can be described as an integrated cross-functional IP management system in the differentiation center, where besides the traditional link between tools and processes, especially with respect to IP, they incorporated the new sources of important inputs, such as corporate strategy, market information, and product development. So these new processes and this new organizational structure can be summarized in by 6 core elements. So the first is the incorporation of strategic objectives, where entrepreneurial action is used to is used to define and achieve specific goal and lead to coherence. Second, there was the process landscape had to be captured, such as interlinked processes can lead to the identification on whether a patent, for example, need to be created and filed. Third, the tool landscape, it's everything, basically all types of tools, IT tools, but also processes, normal processes that are used to enable and execute the IT strategy, and to make sure that the processes that I spoke to you before are properly interlinked together.
As a fourth element, you can see there's information architecture, which permits the mapping and evaluation of the patents of different competitors, so they can check what their competitors are doing. The fifth element are the resources, in which topic they try to define the key resources, which are, in case of Vorwerk, the personnel and know-how resources, which also is important as a financial resource, and the asset portfolio. And especially for Vorwerk, there are also infrastructural components in this case of resources. The last element of these 6 points are the reporting and controlling, which enable an efficient comparison of the planned and actual costs of the portfolio. And this is compared to a specific customer benefit and the willingness to pay from the customer perspective, what they want to pay for a special feature, for example, the RISE of the Vorwerk Thermomix. Next.
And finally, for question 4, we look at the organizational requirements that are caused by the task of the 360 IP strategy. So there are 4 task-oriented sectors that is important. Firstly is the risk. In terms of risk management, there's a need to ensure technologies that are used in Thermomix are protected from being compromised by third-party rights. Second is on the suppression of imitation, whereby there's a need that the main objective is to protect past investments from imitation in order to safeguard the USPs of the proprietary solutions. And primarily that is really to exclude the availability of cheaper imitations that are either based on technological or design-related solutions of Thermomix. The third point is on the market position design. So the patent, it is important that the patent department is integrated into the roadmap process, and desired future positions are protected by means of strategic patents. And lastly, in terms of the USP communication, there's a need to ensure continuity of market presence in the eyes of the customer and to communicate the USP of the value proposition. Finally, in terms of key success factors, there are also 4 points. Firstly, integration of market intelligence all the way from identifying needs to designing and patents. Secondly, a design of prohibitive rights along the customer benefits of product and service propositions. Thirdly, customer decision making as the basis for IP. And finally, the use of response data in order to continuously improve the IP design.
Well, that was it from Group 1. Thank you very much for your attention.